Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Heartless, and I'll be playing Roderick, Asgrim, Gylass. I am joined by my very lovely friend...
Me! AudioVizual, the local Toonkind bootleg Sableye. And I'm going to be Knom the Monk today, our favorite oddball Warnickine CGA, and, just vibing.
So, a little preface. This takes place after Once Upon a Mind, a game in which Roderick and Knom met.
Very good game. Excellent game. Everyone listen to this game.
And because before that game happened, Roderick and Ursa were headed to Toontown, Roderick just kind of invited Knom to come along, mostly because Roderick has been like, yep, this is my friend now. I must protect them. I must protect him.
Knom's just like, these two have some very serious separation anxiety. I'm not really going anywhere. Might as well tag along. It's free friend.
So now they arrived in Toontown and booked a single room because
Probably.
Ursa's not very big. Does not take up a lot of space.
Tiny. So tiny.
And Roderick is average-ish tall. For a human.
Knom is a little... Yeah, for a human. Knom is tall for a toon, apparently. But, he can sleep just about anywhere, probably.
So, after retiring to sleep, Roderick got up probably a couple of hours after trying to sleep and went up to the roof. He wasn't particularly quiet.
I was gonna say, I'll make you roll stealth, motherpecker. How quiet were you?
Let's roll stealth. Oh, that's a 6. 5 plus 1. So, upon getting up, Roderick trips and falls flat on his face with a thump.
Oh my god.
And
Ursa somehow luckily sawing rocks over in the corner of the bed.
Ursa probably woke up a little bit and then went back to sleep.
There's nothing to see, because Roderick's flat on the floor.
Yup. And, Roderick probably accidentally knocks something over, curses under his breath as he writes it before it all clatters to the ground.
Oh my god. You didn't need to make it this bad.
Yes, I did. It was a 6. And he eventually leaves the room without, making any more noise.
Amazing. I mean, Knom is definitely awake at that point. He'll roll stealth too to see how much quieter he can be. Leaving the room. 5. Excellent. I don't know why I bothered.
I feel like Ursa just wakes up and, just sleepily looks over.
God. Nom just spends like a couple of minutes like coaxing Ursa back to sleep. She's like, oh, nope, everything's fine, everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Nom is trying his very best, everyone. He does like he doesn't fucking expeditious retreat out of the room, but dang is it not pretty close by the time he's like done.
So it's probably not hard to realize where Roderick has gone. Because if you even so much as look just a little bit up of eye level height, you could see his shoes dangling over the side of the roof of the inn. I should probably mark down that he cast fly on himself. What?
I'm just laughing because it's like, yeah, he cast fly, and I'm over here looking at Nom like, he's either gonna have to tune Logic Rayman up there, or, you know, actually climb.
Hey, look. Roderick is a warlock. He can cast fly.
He can cast spell as treat.
He can only cast 2 spell.
As treat. Alright, I'm gonna roll acrobatics to see how well Nom Rayman's up there. 12. He's tired. He has no idea why they're going to the roof. He's going to the roof. It's probably something along the lines of Roderick, there's just a hand that appears and a hand that appears, and then Nom's head pops up over the edge. And it's like the rest of his body's still like down, like leaning out the window a little. And he's just sort of like stretched over the course of this, and he's like, Roderick, what are you doing?
Nom, do you need some help? Do you need some help? Yeah.
I think I'm fine. And yeah, he just sort of like slowly like climbs his way up, and like settles down next to Roderick, and he's just like rubbing his face a little.
Sorry, I must have woken you.
I feel like we both kind of made a bit of a racket leaving the room, honestly.
Is Ursa awake now?
No, I made sure that Ursa went back to sleep.
He just kind of nods and looks up towards the sky. Just couldn't sleep.
I mean, after what happened, I wouldn't necessarily blame you, considering the whole, would it qualify as a magical coma? I feel like it would qualify as a magical coma.
What's a coma? He just looks over at Nom with a quizzical expression on his face.
Nom is just sitting here, everyone. He's just looks at Roderick like, you don't know. You don't know. Okay. A coma's like when you go to sleep and you can't wake up, and you usually have to like go to the doctor or something, or have the doctor look after you so you don't, not ever wake up or anything. It's you sleep a lot and you can't wake up by normal means. That sort of thing.
His eyebrows kind of just scrunch for a moment, and he goes, "Oh, so that's what that's called." But But when we got back home, Katrina was fine and awake. But before that, I think Sierra said that she couldn't be awoken for some reason.
Is just sitting here. He still doesn't really have any idea who Katrina is, except that Katrina is very important to Roderick. It's just well, I feel like that would qualify because there's like normal medical comas and then there's like the magic induced kind, and it sounds like your friend was probably in the magic kind. I'm not a doctor or anything. I don't even play one on TV, so
Roderick just kind of blinks and stares at Knom blankly for a moment. What's a TV?
Is kind of going through a face journey because I know I'm going through a face journey where he just sort of like puts his hands together, like, you know, prayer hands, and he's just thinking for a second, and it's just there's this journey going on through his face where his little nubbins are kind of like moving a bit, and then he just sort of looks at Roderick and he's like, "Where are you from exactly, Roderick?"
The Bertus Isles. This place, and he kind of gestures to Toontown, is much bigger than I'm used to.
Uh-huh. And you don't have televisions or trains or cars or apparently talks about gender.
Well, it's a very small village. We get some news from the fishermen and the merchants who stop by boat, but you know that's only from the closest mainland. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things here that are very, very new to me.
No, Ursa has that picture book, but I feel like we need to get you something else. Like I don't know how to explain everything. I mean, I can try, but I'm not exactly the smartest. And okay. So the TV is a television, and it's a box with pieces of technology in it that let you see like movies and stuff. Tell me, do you know what a movie is?
I'm gonna roll history to see if he remembers something about that, because I don't think Ursa actually talked to him about it, but Victor might have.
Okay.
Let's see, it's an 11. What is history modifier? -1. So that's a 10.
Awesome!
So his eyes look kind of mystified.
You know what a play is?
Yeah, I've heard of a play. That's it's in a theater.
Yeah, it's kind of like a movie. It's kind of like a play, except they use cameras, which are just recording boxes with picture-y things, and they record it, and then you can put it on the TV, and it plays it as many times as you want. And I think that's the best explanation I can give you right now.
Wow. You can play it. You can watch it as many times as you like, and the actors don't get tired.
Well, whenever you record it with a camera, it's the camera saves the one time that they play through it. and then the camera plays it by itself. So it doesn't need actors like to do it again and again after that point because the camera has it all saved.
I'm gonna roll intelligence to make sure he got that. I mean, it's a low DC, but you know I gotta roll intelligence here.
Please just roll it. See how much Dice Parser wants to bully us today because we're getting some low rolls.
You mean my own dice, because that was a 9 minus 1.
Put them in dice jail. Get out someone else's dice. Just put them in dice jail. Use Dice Parser. I don't know. Tom did not come up here to talk about what television is.
No, let's stop rolling for a little while with those dice. I was just rolling to see which ones would actually be nice to me, and I keep getting 2s and 8s and 9s. So, like...
Just stop.
Stop. And Roderick just kind of blinks. Maybe I'm just a little too tired right now. Maybe we could talk about it in the morning.
We'll get Ursa's picture book out and we'll look at Ursa's picture book. And maybe it'll be easier then.
Maybe. Trains are still a little terrifying.
I've seen enough train movies where that is a completely understandable and valid take. Trains will squish you flat, and even with tunes, it's kind of startling to go swoosh. Especially whenever, trains. I think I'm tired too.
I'm sorry I woke you up.
It's okay. I feel like out of all of us, at least Ursa's not awake because then it would be Ursa would probably like Python constrict around your face in an attempt to cuddle you, and then we would have to spend like 20 minutes trying to pry him off so you don't suffocate, because that's a real problem you would probably have because Ursa is very fluffy and very small and is very good at the noodling.
Yeah. I don't think that would end very well. Hi.
So, not to be nosy, but I guess to be kind of nosy, Knom kind of like messes with the back of his head and neck a little, like running his hand over something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so why, besides, the obvious, are you having trouble sleeping?
Well, it's a new place. Not really used to sleeping anywhere except for a hammock and the ground. The ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I get nightmares.
Yeah. I mean, handshake emoji. Are you making that sound with your mouth?
Roderick just kind of stares blankly at Knom for a moment. Because he's just like, he's very confused. How is Knom making that sound with his mouth?
Knom just, he's like fiddling with something on the back of his head, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I get nightmares too sometimes, and I bet Ursa gets them sometimes too. Maybe not Ursa. I don't know. That would be more of an Ursa question for Ursa. But I get nightmares sometimes too, and I understand how that makes it very hard to sleep."
Yeah. No. I don't want to be nosy either, but some of the things you said while we were messing around in that storybook, kind of concerning.
Well, I mean, it's not like you haven't technically said anything concerning either, because there was the whole thing with the turtle and the rabbit, I think, because they had something in common, I think, and then, the whole thing with, turnabout's fair play. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can more properly explained, what's my problem with them were. So my friend Katrina, my best friend, was kidnapped when I was 12, and Cyrus and I went in after her through this, and he just kind of waves his hands in the air. Weird portal thingy called a corridor of darkness, and the man who kidnapped her had red eyes, and he had a bunch of people that he works with who also have red eyes, and they all wear black coats, but not all the time, so it's kind of suspicious of people with red eyes, because they could be connected to him. It's a little complicated.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that. And Knom very slowly reaches out and pats Roderick's arm. And he's like, I mean, I feel like there is some degree of, I don't think a giant turtle and a giant rabbit can I don't think they would even fit in any sort of black coat. They're both kind of quadrupedal, except the rabbits sometimes bipedal. But and also I don't think the storybook had anything to do with it, if that helps. It just, I mean, you're gonna meet a fair amount of people with red eyes, because Toons aren't really bound by real kind genetics, and red eyes are kind of a cool aesthetic thing.
The word aesthetic just makes Roderick's eyes glass over.
Oh my god.
But he just slowly nods and doesn't ask anything.
Bless his heart. get this boy a fucking dictionary. It's just like, and, your friend's okay now, at least, right? Your friends?
Well, I think, Katrina's still okay. Kind of. Well, we rescued her, and we, grew up. After Roderick just kind of glides his hand over his face, after, that happened, Sirius, well, after we came back, Sirius, kind of just, was really weird around me. But, I just kind of left. And then when I came here, through another corridor of darkness, because it opened up again, in our home, I was just following it to make sure nothing bad was gonna come to the Isles. And, I met Victor again. Victor was, being kind of weird. But, we were investigating this problem in this town called Timeless Hollow. And Sirius was there, causing the problem, because he was being possessed. I think that's the right word.
Knom is just sort of like sitting here attempting to process this, and it's just like more and more things are happening, and he's just like, oh, like in his head he's like, oh, you poor bastard. You have been sucked into plot, you poor dude. And were you able to unpossess him?
Well, not after, a bunch of, very friendly toons came and, helped me, stop him.
I can't say that's a lot to unpack, and it sounds like it's really kind of sucked. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it really did. Very much so. Look at these two awkward boys on a rooftop.
Yeah, they're here talking. What are they gonna talk about? Oh no, they have to talk about things. Yeah. Do you so the whole and Nom like awkwardly looks to the side and then kind of looks back at Roderick and then like gestures vaguely at Roderick, and he's like, the whole thing You know, whenever we woke up in the one room, and you know, do you think maybe that whole thing had something to do why everyone was acting, kind of weird? Maybe?
Oh, jeez. Luke, stop barking!
Oh no, the dog! Just low, off in the distance, as these two are trying to conversate, there's a dog barking.
It must be one of the dog squad barking at a criminal as he tries to track him down.
Just off in the distance, crime never sleeps in Toontown. The city never sleeps. They do these two, apparently.
Roderick just kind of puts his hands together and worries at them for a moment. I mean, probably, but, might have, something to do with, dying.
Yeah, I think, yeah, if they think you're dead, then you pop up like everything's fine. People tend to act kind of weird about that. Cause, yeah. Yeah. Nom's just sort of, nodding a little to himself, like, yeah.
Roderick just kind of... I'm gonna roll insight using Dice Parser.
Oh.
Actually gonna use Dice Parser. Let's see, what's his insight? +1.
3! The dice hate us today. God, dice hate us today.
I'm gonna read that as Roderick does not know why Knom is warbling back and forth about this, so Roderick's going to ask. Because he actually does that, unlike some other of my characters that I know. Roderick just, kind of, wrinkles his eyebrow a little worriedly and, Knom, has that happened to you before?
What do you mean by, that exactly? Because, I've certainly had people act weird around me before, and, you know, just, and Knom is, like, he's doing this thing where he's got, like, his right hand on the back of his head, and he's, like, tracing something, and he is, very anxiously doing his sort of, warbling thing. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mentioned that I probably died, and how this... He just kind of waves his hand in front of his face without anything really actually happening. And you started sounding kind of like a really weird instrument that some people like to play.
I don't know whether to be impressed or insulted. So I'm just gonna let that one go. The whole dying thing. Funny story about that sort of thing. Sometimes it happens, and then you're fine. Most of the time, you know, it's a thing that has happened. You know.
I don't think it's something that actually happens very often, considering.
Oh. Sometimes you go on a boat ride, and it's your first time on a boat, and then you end up at a Yakuza stronghold, and things happen. So many things.
Roderick, the word Yakuza just makes him go like, wait, what? That's a criminal group here, right?
Yeah, it's an organized crime group that I was told very fiercely to avoid, and of course then I got dragged into doing this whole thing with being involved there. Yeah, they're very not nice, and they will I would definitely avoid them because they'll sometimes take tunes and turn them into like animals or other things, and then bad things happen to you. Really bad things. But it's hopefully being handled, question mark. But they don't know I was involved, I hope. So yeah.
As soon as the phrase tunes being turned into animals, Roderick just kind of like starts. He looks very worried. and he's like, do you want to talk a little more about it?
I mean, if you want my honest opinion, probably not, but if you're really curious, and you're new around here, so I should probably at least give you a bit of a warning about stuff, because, the Yakuza are very not nice, and they will absolutely bring you down to negative HP, and sometimes things get set on fire because you're panicking, and, yeah.
I don't know what negative HP means, but that sounds kind of scary. You get meta, and Roderick is just like very confused again.
Yeah. Nom's kind of like still fiddling with the back of his head, and he's like kind of looking away from Roderick. And he looks back at Roderick, and he's like, well, oh, right, real kind, not used to tunes. Meta-contextual information. You know how that whole, like, don't, be hit hard enough, you're no longer awake thing that you're generally, supposed to avoid in fights?
Yeah. I know that.
So I may have failed step 1. And sometimes your head gets popped off, and it's not supposed to be popped off quite like that. And then you freak people out even worse because, it's embodied head stuff, and the whole X is over eyes for a moment sort of vibe.
Roderick has started sweating. And he looks even more worried.
See, I'm fine now. Except for, I can, you can't really see because it's technically not supposed to be part of my design, but, so don't do the freaking out thing, okay? This is fine. And Knom, like, pops his head off and turns it around so Roderick can see the back of it. There is like, I don't know if Roderick wants to roll anything.
Hold on a
We'll
sec.
see how well that goes.
I am rolling this wisdom save at advantage. It's okay, he got a 19.
Nom told him not to freak out. It's normal.
Yeah, Nom told him not to freak out, and he braced himself, which is why the advantage for the wisdom save. It's still incredibly unnerving to watch someone take off their head.
Don't meet any Doulahans then.
Yep, Roderick's gonna... If he ever does, Roderick's gonna just kind of... might faint. Anyways.
Yeah, does Roderick want to, like, touch or look intently at the back of Knom's head?
After the initial, little bit of breathing to keep himself calm, it's fine. Just muttering under his breath, Knom's fine, Knom's fine, Knom is fine. He will take a moment to, because this is what this is for, is to very hesitantly investigate by touch the back of Knom's head. Screw you, dice. I'm using dice person.
Amazing. I love how the dice hate you.
I thought it was going to be nice to me because it rolled a 15, but nope, that time it rolled a 9. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna roll with dice parser, and I get a 12.
This DC is not high, thankfully, my dude. Especially because you're using touch. Because technically the back of Knom's head looks fine. It's part of his design. And then you kind of like touch, and like right in the back of his head, there's a pretty good size like dent, kind of like indenting into his head, and he's metal. I don't know if Roderick's touched metal before, so it's kind of like the slightly warm metal vibe, and it's a little rough around the edges, giving it like cause Knom's head is smooth, but it has like a rough edge to the dent, and Knom's just like, well, okay, so don't lose your head over this. I don't know if that's kind of poorly timed. See, there was a guy with a very big stick who didn't like the fact I was hitting him with my stick. No, and I kind of fell over, and then he took offense to my head existing, hovering above my shoulders as it normally does. And a pro tip: don't have your head like separated from your body, because mine is supposed to do it normally, but it's kind of very, very uncomfortable after a certain point. And like puts his head back on and like begins screwing it back on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh. Shit.
It turned out okay. I didn't, have to get a cleric or anything, although I don't know what Dugan was. I don't want to know. But, yeah. Not fun.
Oh. That doesn't sound fun. Oh. Man, it's really dangerous over here, isn't it?
Yes, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's part of why tunes are so squish and stretch and bounce and, the whole, tune logic thing, where it's protected by the fact, certain things can't be shown on, so it's pretty dangerous, but it's not always like this. It's just there's lots of loose threads and stuff that sort of get all caught up here, and people get tangled up in them, and then things happen. And I hadn't really learned how to properly fight people because I haven't been away from the monastery too long. Well, it's been a fair bit, but it was I'd only recently left then. So I going into a fight where people want to unalive you is very different from practice sparring.
Yeah, that is. I learned that when I was going up against Xehanort.
Yeah, that's kind of a dumb name. Like I know he's super scary apparently, and he's done all these bad things, but listen, it's kind of a dumb name, and that's coming from someone whose name is Knom, okay? I think I'm allowed to judge a little.
Roderick just kind of wrinkles his eyebrows. Your name's not dumb.
Okay, so tunes have a lot of pun names. My name is a pun. It's just sort of like that sometimes. Or they're just kind of silly sometimes, because tunes are supposed to be silly, sort of thing. That is a stereotype. If you, a generalization. Okay, Do you want an explanation or just keep moving on? I mean, my name isn't dumb because I like it and it's my name. It's just kind of, not as fancy or anything, like, it's just Knom.
Oh, actually, I think Victor's talked to me about this before. Because, his full name is, Vector Vol. And he's a Vol.
Yeah, it's like, and Knom is like gesturing sort of empathetically. It's like, yeah, sometimes they're just really kind of like that. And, it's like, wow, there's probably at least 3 other Voltoons in the general area of Toontown. And are they all gonna have some sort of pun name or have it start with V? Probably. It's really silly. That's so with tunes, right? It's like, don't expect us to be silly, right? But sometimes things are just dumb and silly, like your friend being named Victor Vol and he's a Vol, or I'm Knom the monk, and it's just sometimes things are really, really, really serious, like everything going on with this Xehanort guy.
Not with a TH.
Oh, Xehanort. This very serious Xehanort, who's all apparently a big, scary, guy. And, sometimes things are just silly, and it's really weird, the whiplash, but one of the best advice I can give you is, just sort of roll with the punches, as, you go into everything super duper serious, and then it's less likely to sort of turn out okay, and then you're always stuck as like the straight man of the group.
Roderick looks mildly puzzled for a moment.
Tom is giggling at his own pun, because he was about to say, and I'm never the straight man of the group. I feel like he does get that out between like the laughter, honestly. It's just sort of laughing at that pun.
Roderick thinks about that for a moment. And then thinks some more. And if he was a toon, you could imagine steam starting to come out of his ears because he looks very confused.
We're gonna have Knom roll insight.
Oh no!
Oh my god! How is that a not one? I hate you, dice parser. Where's my fucking dice? Alright. Fuck this. Alright, what set do I want to use? Do I want to use... Let's use the glow-in-the-dark ones. Let's use the glow-in-the-dark ones. Those ones are new. Alright, where's my fucking D20? I'm doing this. Dice cracking noises. Alright. It's a 16! Okay!
Yay! So...
plus the fucking 4. It's a dirty 20. There we go. Peck you, dice parser.
The concept of a straight man is not something Roderick is familiar with, and why Knom wouldn't be a straight man is also very confusing, and Roderick's just like... question marks. He's like,
Knom does like stop, like he gathers himself and like kind of stops laughing, and he's like, is this another thing I should explain?
I think for me to to actually get it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a pun, sort of thing. So with like the okay. So it's like Toon stuff, right? There's like the comedy rules. And one of those things is in a group. There's usually it's called a straight man because it's usually the person who isn't like going along with all the funny stuff, and it's not usually like a he all the time, it's just yeah, that's just the term. It's sort of like supposed to ground everything back to reality and stop everything from spiraling off into like really, really crazy stuff. Not to make things less funny, but sort of to emphasize how crazy and wacky things are sometimes. You have someone who's like acting normal in comparison. And it's a pun in this case. So you remember how we were talking about the whole gender stuff while we were stuck in the storybook?
Yeah. And Roderick smiles.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not like there are people who aren't boys or girls, and then so then it's like, there's that. And then sometimes there are people who don't like sometimes there are boys who don't like girls, and sometimes there are girls who don't like boys, and then sometimes there are people who don't like anybody. Like to have a relationship with like that. And then sometimes there are people like girls who like girls and boys who like boys, like that sort of thing. And so whenever you're like a boy who likes girls or a girl who likes boys and that's all you like, you're called straight. He's trying to understand.
So with the way Knom is explaining, it's very easy to understand, so he is understanding.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, Knom's doing a very good job.
Knom is trying so hard. So then there, so whenever you're like a girl who likes girls or a boy who likes boys, you're called like the term you use is like, it's gay. And there are lots of other terms for like, if you like boys and girls, or, it's, I bet Ursa has a book on it, honestly. Ursa seems like someone who has a lot of, informational books like this. But the joke is, 'cause that's what I was trying to explain. I like boys, and so I'm not a straight man. See, and then that's the joke.
Oh.
And he kind of puts his face in his hands. That's the joke. There you go.
Oh. Wow, there's a lot of messing out with the eyes.
Yeah, it seems like it, but you know now, and that's better than never knowing,
Mm-hmm.
Was the joke funny at least?
Well, yes, once I got it.
Nom just gives like a weak thumbs up, and he kind of like just like his face is back in his hands, just like, where am I? What's going on? What have I done with my life? That's Nom. And if it helps any, you get cool flags. That's the whole thing. There are cool flags for everything.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's life is very complicated, and people like to give labels to things to help make things less complicated, but sometimes sometimes you just exist and you don't know the labels until you learn the labels. And it does, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Has this, has this helped any?
Yes, a lot.
That's good.
Is Nom's face still in his hands?
A little. Just like...
Is he peeking out?
Yes. He is looking at Roderick a little.
Roderick's cheeks are a little blushy. And he looks a little awkward.
Amazing. Bless Roderick's heart. Nom just gives him like a smile, and he scrubs his face a final time. He just reaches over and he like gives Roderick like a pat on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, I mean, you're learning a lot about yourself, and if anything, you get it all over with at once. You got weird, not dying stuff going on, and the thing with boys and girls, and how gender's dumb and weird, and you just get it all done at once, and you just learn a lot."
Yeah.
See, it's
Roderick's just he just kind of reaches up and pulls his hand through his hair and scratches at the back of his head.
It's really silly to think about, huh? Like, you came up here because you were having nightmares, and now we're having this sort of conversation, and it's just very different from how you felt whenever you woke up, huh?
Well, I am feeling less yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel comparatively, technically better?
Yes. I feel better.
That's good. That's definitely an improvement.
Well, I've Roger's just gonna kind of go try to just get back his composure.
Nom just kind of sits there, like, he kind of, like, tucks his feet up, like, so it draws them up to, his knees up to, like, his chest, sitting on the ledge, and his tail is kind of swishing back and forth, and he's watching Roderick for a second, just sort of giving him a minute. Nom is kind of just vibing.
Well, I talked a bit about where I come from. Do you want to talk about the monastery where you come from?
Can if you want to hear about it. Not a lot of people tend to ask.
Oh, like I said, I haven't been to a lot of places, so
Okay. So I'm from a place called well, the whole country is technically like that part of the country because Einquell is the continent, and then there's lots of the little countries, and it's usually sort of like you can kind of tell where you are on Einquell because of like the art style and what everyone looks like, right? Except for places like, you know, where we are now, where it's a lot of different kinds of tunes all coming together. Sort of like on kind continents, I think. I don't know. I'm from a place called Dreamworkers, and it has a lot of kind of like I'm kind of unique because I sort of shared the same sort of art style because I'm a CGAN, and it just means that's like my kind of art style. Because some tunes look like they're flat, right? Like they're drawn on paper. And then you have tunes like me who look like we're supposed to be 3D, which is like how real kind are. Time. And so Dreamworkers has a lot of that sort of look. And sometimes we tend to look really, 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 really close to real kind. My monastery, it was started by my family, technically. I think I qualify as adopted and or well, that's kind of a story in itself. But I have Tanith and Tara and Benethy and basically everyone used to be like an adventuring party together. And they had this really big, long adventure, and at the end of it, they decided to start the monastery together, so they wouldn't have to leave each other, and they could raise me, and my parents were there, and they aren't there anymore, but I've had, like, everyone else, and, yeah. It's, I used to run, like, mail and stuff, and Tanith taught me a lot of stuff. Tanith is, kind of like my mom, question mark. Tanith is half toon, half real kind, looks like a big, scary dragon lady.
Roderick is just kind of like absorbing all of this.
And I think you would like her a lot. She's very, very strong and cool, and she does like lacy stuff with her free time. And she taught me how to crochet because, and Knom looks down at his hands and he looks over at Roderick and he kind of wiggles his fingers and he's like, I don't really have the dexterity in my hands for lace work because it's very little fine detail-y stuff, and I have fat fingers. Just a bit.
Roderick just kind of looks at his own hands, and the skin on his palms is really rough. He's got carpenter's hands.
So that's how I learned how to make like the little stuffies I made you guys and stuff. Because I wanted to do something with my hands. And I'm kind of just out here because Tanith wanted me to go out and explore experience the world instead of staying at the monastery all the time, and just being kind of a homebody, because she thought it would be good for me, and I guess it's technically been good for me. I'm learning a lot. The degree of how good for me it's been is kind of variable, I feel, considering.
Yeah. I'm glad that she thought she should leave and go out and see the world, because if you didn't, we wouldn't have met.
Yeah, you're right. That I wouldn't have met you, or Ursa, or Amy, or Dugan, or Bisig. Yeah, I've met a lot of really, really cool and nice people. It's been really nice, and I've had fun. Most of the time. whenever I'm not being pulled into storybooks or having my fun boat ride interrupted with a big storm. I can't really go swimming, I'd sink. I can only get on boats. It's the whole thing. I'm not exactly the most aqua-friendly.
Roderick looks very sad when you say you can't go swimming.
Well, I sink, Roderick, and then I just have to walk along the bottom.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's funny a little, but it also is not necessarily exactly swimming. I think it qualifies as diving, but then at that point I'm just sort of walking along the bottom, just looking up at the top, and hoping that I'll be able to, like, have somewhere I can climb out. And I like the beach though, which is fun.
I miss the beach.
Yeah?
Well, I grew up on some isles, and those are islands, so surrounded by beaches and the sea.
What was your favorite, like, thing to do? Being homesick sucks, and I don't know where the Bertus Isles is. But it'd be fun to hear about them,
Roderick smiles, and he starts to recount how Katrina, Sirius, and him would take really small boat-like rafts out to a smaller island and play pretty much all day on that island, climbing the mountain, messing around with hermit crabs, swimming in whirlpools, in which Roderick is just like, and I'm the best swimmer on the island, so no whirlpool could even keep me down. He just kind of puffs his chest out proudly about that.
and Knom, who has only technically been to the ocean once, is very, very fascinated, because considering his initial experience, hearing about this is a lot better.
He also recounts all the races he did against Sirius, in which most of the time he would win. And so one time when he won, Sirius decided it was time to wrestle after.
Amazing.
Because Sirius was very upset about not winning.
I feel like, honestly, they end up, like, spending the rest of the night just, like, talking on the rooftop.
Yeah.
Just back and forth, just talking about all sorts of shit.
I mean, Roderick probably leaned back at some point to just, like, look up at the stars and starts yawning.
Aww. and I don't think Knom would let Roderick fucking fall asleep on the roof, because that's how you wake up with a sunburn and or, you know... It's like fucking early hours of the morning, and Roderick just kind of like helps frickin' Knom. Like, they both help each other, like, fucking stumble back to bed. And Nurse is just like probably all splayed out and just flump with the teddy bear.
Yes.
And just, yep, good luck, you two. Tomorrow morning properly is going to be a bitch.
I mean, tomorrow morning properly is when Roderick got lost, so...
Just dead tired. It's fine. Roderick learned so many new things tonight.
Yeah. I think we're going to end it there, though, because we're a little over time.
Just the camera zooms in on all three of them, like, plopped around in a pile asleep. And, you know, Roderick looks exactly how Roderick looks when he's asleep. And Knom is just fucking sawing logs, and Ursa's probably sawing logs, and everyone is just nice, passed out and comfy. And then it's like the camera winks out, and there you go.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.